Whew. Hi guys. Today I would like to share with you a very important topic. Why relationship breaking down when people compromising? Why they can't live together and why families just don't last? I think it's very easy to answer that. Let me have a sip first. I hope you hydrate yourself as well. Minimum liter or liter and a half a day. It helps you to think clearly. So let's go back to the why family is breaking down. What do you mean? What I mean, like when people do little things around the house, mopping the floor, um, cooking, looking after children, going to the shop, um, or they're going to hardware shop, and and they agreeing on things, what they're gonna buy, what the furniture, what the new bathroom or whatever. But often I see, not that often, but I've saw a number of time when couple going to the hardware shop in UK B&Q and they arguing just even before they getting to the shop, getting inside of the shop. Why this happening? To me, it's very easy to explain, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. I think if someone murders someone, what we call them? Exactly, murderers. If somebody steals something, we call them thieves. Now, you're thinking, where you getting? I'm getting to very simple explanation. For example, if you ask your partner to do something and your partner can do it because at that moment you know that the partner is available, don't do anything important, but they refuse for some reason. They say, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like I just go do yourself. It's often happening this because families, that's why they're breaking down. One of the reasons. Also, they can't agree on things. Like, as I say, they're buying things, they're falling out. They can't come to conclusion what to buy, what piece of furniture, what color furniture gonna be or whatever. And they argue until they die because the woman makes enough or just about the same amount of money and she feels like that she should be heard. Uh, they don't have a clear structure in relationship and there is no clear leader in relationship, which should be a man. Wait a minute, Sergey, what do you mean a man? Yes, a man should be a leader in a relationship, wise, making the right decisions, having understanding, and having very clear value system. So his woman knows what he's all about, um, and where it's better not to step over the line because he explains his value system, where he's flexible in which areas and where what areas or what he must get in relationship, which is called non-negotiables. When she knows that, then when she goes to the shop or buying things, they will never argue because it's very clear his attitude towards buying things, going visiting places, um, things around the house. She knows that he can change anytime and do his way, and she will have to go with him regardless whether you like it or not. That's the way it should be. But because he loves her and also understands that he can't get everything, he gives her leverage, freedom in a way. Uh, he will lean towards her more often to please her because that's not important according to his value system, these areas, buying, visiting places and stuff like this. So it will never be an argument. They will never need to argue what color to buy, what piece of furniture to buy, what car to buy or whatever. Because for him, if he's getting non-negotiables, what is important to him, everything else she knows that he's gonna be more lean to her. She will be happy. And they will never argue because he doesn't allow arguments to happen. Because this is how it's gonna go, whether you like it or not, whether you feel like or you don't feel like, you're gonna do exactly the same thing because it has to be done. Serving each other. It has to be done, whether you feel like or not. And the thing is, when you start a relationship and you state from day one that there is no room for laziness, there is no room for procrastination, that's why relationship falling apart. You can't compromise laziness. You can't. Let's say if you permit a little bit of evil in your life, laziness is evil. It will destroy your family in the long run. That's why we call thieves, people who stealing are thieves, people who murder are murderers, and people who can do but they refuse to do it, we call them lazy, selfish. They only think about themselves. Why you want to be with the person that is lazy and selfish? There's no compromise here. Why the person compromises 5 times in a row and on a 6th time refuses, and then you get a grudge and you do exactly the same? You don't do what you're supposed to do when you can because your partner done exactly the same. So now it proves that both of you are selfish people and you should not be in a relationship. And that's why you're almost on the brink of divorce. Why? Because you're lazy and you're selfish. And there is no clear structure in relationship. If a man leads and he's clear on his values and his behavior is predictable, bam, every time the same results. You don't need to think that your husband will do or won't do, how he feels, what type of mood he will come back from work with, whether he is in the mood or not in the mood. If you ask him, if he can, he will do it. Do you see the difference? Because he understands if he won't, you will do exactly the same to him and the family will not last in the long run. And this sweeten up, buying flowers and say, sweetheart, I love you. It's a bullshit. It's nonsense. Stop covering up your laziness and selfishness. Because if you wouldn't be selfish and lazy, you would do exactly every time what the person asks of you, whether you feel like or not, because that's your duty in relationship. If you don't want to do that, just don't go in relationship. Because the relationship requires persistence even when you feel like or you don't feel like, but must be achieve the same result. You need to go to the shop, you need to change the nappies, you need to do this and that, cook and look after each other. Because that's your duty, to make each other happy, serve each other's needs. You don't feel like you want to make love, you have to make love. Because he or she will go outside and satisfy and then say, oh, he went or she went and backstabbed me and slept with somebody. Even though when you serve each other, still there is danger, because there's so many around seduction. At work, for example, if your partner or both of you working in the office, that's where it often happens, people meet in the office and then whatever else they do, we know all what they do. And families fall apart. You must feed your emotional tank. You must be nice, say nice things, appreciate food, appreciate effort. Knowing that if you won't, somebody else will do it. And then don't try to cry your eyes out and say, I love you. No, you don't love you. You don't love your partner. Because when you can do it, you don't do it. You're lazy and you're selfish, and you admit that and let the partner go. Because your partner found somebody better. And then every time I notice, and I know how it works, when people split up, a man cries his eyes out, and apparently he loves her so much that he can't live without her. But before they split up, he says, I don't want to see you, I don't love you, I don't care about you, whatever. But when they split up, all of a sudden he loves her again. I know I split up as well. What it is, it's a man's pride. When he has a woman, he sleeps with her, he eats with her. He thinks it belongs to him, and it does belong to him. It's her woman, it's his woman. But when they split up, he can't contain in his mind that somebody will touch her and make love with her. And all of a sudden he thinks he loves her. But if you wind up a week ago before you split up, it was hatred. There's no niceness. The love is dead. The service towards each other is dead. And that's why men can't cope with breaking up with their woman. Because the pride is touched. And they think they love. But in reality, they don't. If they get back, few months, and then they will be back to normal, what it used to be. So it's not worth getting back. Very rarely, very, very rarely it will work. Therefore, you need value system, and from day one discuss and agree on things. What's your non-negotiables, where you are flexible in which areas. Then you know when you go to the shop or where you do this or that or travel or go on holiday or whatever, you already know what your husband is all about. You know what you're all about. And you know whether you feel like or you don't feel like. You will do it because it has to be done in the family if you want your family to last. That's all it is. There's no such only compromise. Compromise, look, everybody talks about compromise, but it doesn't work. Because selfishness and laziness takes over compromise. It kills compromise. Because I don't feel like, and they find the reason why they don't want to do it. But they're telling a nonsense. Because the real reason, they're lazy and selfish. Why you say you love her, you have children together, and you refuse to satisfy and help her or him to, to do whatever it needs to be done. Make love, cook food, or iron the t-shirt, or whatever. Why you tell him or her to do themselves when the person asked you to do that? And it doesn't matter how many times you ask each other to do. You don't count that. If you really want to be happy. If you want to live like everybody else, carry on and do what you do and pretend you have compromise, and you compromise now and again, and that's how you get by. But sooner or later, you 10, 15, 25 years, you will split up. And the love is dead, it's just nothing there. You just two people live under one roof. But if you really want deep connection, that's what it takes. Commitment, persistence, and do things when you don't feel like. But the right thing to do, and you're doing it. That's what it is. And nobody is taking advantage of anyone. Do you see the difference? I hope I'm helping you to understand that, when you meet a person on day one, you discuss things, what's important for you in a relationship. You agree on things and see whether you click and have the same mentality. If a person likes to sit at home all the time and you like to be out and about, you're gonna have a problem. But if the person says, I will go with you, doesn't matter. I used to be at home, but I will go. If that's important to you, I will go and make my effort and to enjoy it at the same time. Because you don't want someone, your partner, to go with you like unhappy, looking depressed because they're keeping a company to you, but they hate that. No, they're gonna go and make effort to enjoy it, even though they don't like it. But because they do it, because you said, I will do exactly the same. You like football, you go to football matches. I hate football, but I will go and I will make an effort and I will enjoy in that. That's how life created. If you're not all about that, don't even go in a relationship. That's not a easy thing. But a lot of selfish people going through the motions, don't ask questions, they don't have structure, they just go through the motion, have sex, make children, and then trying to figure out how to live together under one roof. And then they complain, my partner didn't do this, didn't do that. How they could if there is no structure? Today you compromise, tomorrow you don't feel like. How to battle that? Exactly, you put the system in place. You do whether you feel like or not. You do it, and that's it. But you also must know flexible areas for your husband and non-negotiable. What is your husband's non-negotiable? And he must be a man, not a tail. And if you want to rule in relationship, a woman, I see also some happy families when a woman is leading in a relationship. I don't know up close. I haven't lived in that family what it's like, but I've seen a number of relationship when a woman is leading, and the man seems like he's happy to follow. But that shouldn't be the way. A man should be strong. But we have issue today with the man. That man is not strong anymore. He lost who he is. Even though in business he might be good, but with woman he becoming a moped, because he doesn't know what he's all about. He knows how to make money. He knows how to make money. But when it comes to relationship, he hasn't got a clue. If you ask him what is your non-negotiables, what you are willing to do in relationship and what you are not willing to do. If you are not willing to do. I want to know before I get with you in a relationship. What, have you got any flexibility? Are you flexible somewhere? Where are you flexible? That I would know you more lean, means you're flexible, that means you more leaned towards me if I suggest something. Because that is not very important to you. And a man, I don't know. How can you sit in a car with someone that don't know how to drive the car? And both of you haven't got a clue. Look at the statistics. 8 out of 10 divorcing today. 80%. And the ones that not married, living together, so maybe we have very low percentage that people really making relationship work. That is just existing. We can't call them relationship. They live under one roof. They're fighting, they're arguing, and whatever. And sooner or later they're splitting up. I have a man wiring for me router, broadband into the house, and I talked to him, and he says, after 20 years, I walked out with the telly on my hands. 2 kids, had a new house, had to sell it, lost everything. And he was 53. Now he's renting a place. He hasn't got his own house, and he has to pay child maintenance on top of it. That's why that having the value system doesn't guarantee that you live forever. But that might shorten the time rather than dragging the time. So for example, the moment you stop doing things for each other, it's time to separate. That might be after 15 years. But if you don't have structure, you might last another 10 years. So that means you will lose more time. Here you straight away tackle the problem. Somebody doesn't want to do, that means I had enough. That's it, simple as that. Why you go to work? You don't feel like, but you go to work. Why? Because you won't get paid. So why relationship you think you can choose not to do when you can, and relationship will last? Why do you think that this will not bring, when you don't feel like that you need to make love? Why do you think you can get away with that? That your partner will not find somebody else? It's your fault, it's not your partner's fault. The partner's need has to be met, whatever it is. Sex, food, pleasure, whatever. Every need has to be met. If not, the partner is in danger to be seduced, because it's the partner walking hungry in that area, and somebody is ready walking with the food around that person. Oh, let him go, let her go, and if she... No. Don't condone laziness and procrastination and selfishness. You must do it if you want something decent. That's purely and simply. I hope we're helping you somehow, because some people just in the clouds with this 50-50. But for some reason they refuse to do that compromise. For some reason they did 10 times in a row, and then on the 11th they say no. Otherwise people would not divorce if people would not argue. They argue because they don't agree, because they're not sure what is all about. If, let's say, in the flexible area, you go to the shop, buy something. You're discussing now what color, what type of kitchen you want to put in. A man says, honey, that's my flexible area. I'll tell you what I like. And if you like that, we'll buy that. I will never argue with that. There's never gonna be an argument. Do you see the difference? How makes everything simple? A man will never twist his brains to argue with his wife. It makes everything so simple. Because a man very clear on his value system. He's getting his non-negotiables, and that's what he needs to get to be in a relationship. The areas where it's flexible, he knows that he's gonna be more lean towards her. Not 100%. He has always an option to choose his way, and she will have to go with him. But more times he will lean towards her to make her happy, to please her. That's what it is. I can't stand. I had a friend. They live with his wife, maybe for 15 years. I don't know whether they're still together, but I know what the family is like. And I asked him, I spoke in other video as well. I said, would you like your wife would make love with you anytime you want? That's impossible. I'd never argued with him, because I knew if he thinks that it's impossible for him. And how they live? I said, what do you do? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. He doesn't touch her, he doesn't help her. And he comes back, dishes not washed. She sits at home with one child. Now they have a tourism business, they have a building by the lake, and people like renting and parties, weddings and everything. Her father helped to build that business, but he's a tail in relationship. He has no word, and especially now when the business is built. People, why you condoning laziness and selfishness and trying to blend that? Relationship is not working. Why you don't say, I'm just lazy, I just can't be bothered, and I deserve that my partner would leave me or sleep with somebody else because I refuse to meet my partner's need. I am the one guilty. Why not admit? I never met a person that would speak like that. Never. I used to ask my colleagues what they're all about, what their relationship all about, and how they behave. And a lot of them gambling, smoking weed, or sometimes taking drugs, drinking. And really, I don't know how relationship nowadays last, even 10 years, with this type of behavior. There's no wonder there's no sex in a relationship, or very, very small, very little sex happening in a relationship. A lot of sex happening before relationship happens. When people happy, going out and about and enjoying themselves. But once they get in a relationship, stress, arguments, kills sex. Because they're not helpful to each other. They're selfish people condoning their selfishness by blaming each other. So I wish you all the best, and remember, value system. If you're a man, you must know what you're all about. If I wake you up at night You will tell me, here's my non-negotiables, here's where I'm flexible. I will never argue with my partner. I will explain that on day one, and I will know what she's all about and see whether she's happy to blend with who I am. Because I am the man in the relationship and my word is the last. And because you're gonna treat your wife with respect, you will treat your wife with love, you will treat your wife with care, and she will have to do her job. And you will do your job to make her happy. That's how it works. But she will never stand equally with you to argue, because she knows she will never be able to win, because she knows clearly what is your non-negotiables, and she knows clearly where you are flexible. That means she knows you're more you're gonna be lean towards her. So she can go happily to the shop, she can go and talk about house renovations, whatever. You know, when it comes to building, women sometimes don't understand about, like, you know, building stuff, carpentry and everything, plumbing and electrical stuff. That's a man's job to hire professionals if it needed. If he can do himself, he can do himself. It's his job to take care of these things. And remember, don't allow your woman to moan alone. Don't allow your woman to moan alone. Do me a favor. Treat her with respect, with care, and you know, treat her like she's very, very precious to you. She only can do light duties. Clean the house, cook, look after the children, do nice to you all the time, and vice versa. Yeah, because you are a team and you should be capitalizing on each other's strengths. Maybe she's good at something and you're not as good. Give her that area. Maybe planning, maybe finances, whatever area is. If she's better than you, it's excellent. Because you, anyway, one unit, because you got married, you lived together, you decided build life together. Why not to trust? Why you have to have, this is mine, this is yours? You're already setting separation from the very beginning when you state, here's my money, here's your money. I really wish you to understand what I'm saying. It will change your life for the better. You will never even get in a wrong relationship to begin with. If you get in a relationship, it will be the right one. There's no guarantee that it will last, because we're humans and we sometimes decide not to do what we're supposed to do. And when you decide to do that, you will know that it's the end to your relationship, and it's no need to cry your eyes out and say I love you, because nobody will believe that. Yeah, so I think I finished my recording today. I hope it's helpful. I really do hope. Yeah. And by the way, if you like the video, please subscribe and click the like button, and also comment and say what you think. I know most of you probably will not agree what I say. Do I care? Not really, because you don't understand what you're talking about. Because you know how you can talk about something you never had or you never experienced, the structure that brings peace and happiness. Because when no arguments, no grudges, there's only good atmosphere. By helping each other, you're becoming more enthusiastic because you help each other. Yeah. Okay, so finished.